Today's webinar is about IPM Global's Collaborative Access Point. This is a tool designed specifically for distributing information to third parties and providing them with access to documents as defined by a security model. The IPM Collaborative Access Point exists because there are a number of consumers of information around the project. The first are we describe as inside stakeholders. So these are such people as project managers, contract administrators, superintendents, supervisors, and other people within the organisation that have an interest in the project. We then have external stakeholders like subcontractors, owners, and suppliers that will need to access various bits of information, but certainly not all of the project information. The sort of information that we believe internal consumers would be interested in are such things as the original budget, the schedule, cost control aspects of the project, variation or change requests, progress bills, purchase orders, subcontract variations, and lots of other bits that are really of internal interest only. Other aspects that IPM presents through a number of its dashboards, such as the overall progress of the project and all of the statistics around that, what resources have been allocated to which projects and over what periods of time, and also how the project and its schedule are all interrelated and where they're up to and the critical path around those. These are all internal bits of information. Then there are documents that are important to the external parties. Drawings, RFIs, submittal items, defects, the details of subcontracts and subcontract variations or change orders, subcontractor invoices against those subcontracts. But the challenge really is, how do you control who can access which bits of information? Some external parties will need some documents, others will need other documents. You really need a mechanism that is easy to manage to determine who gets to see what in the project. So IPM have come up with a really interesting way of actually managing security, and it integrates tightly with their standard document control process. So essentially it relies on the people that are nominated as recipients of particular documents. So each document, as you can see from the screenshot here, has a recipients list, which is easily added to from the central contacts database that's part of the system. By adding companies and people to this list, the system automatically sends out invitations to access the IPM document portal. One of the ways that the Collaborative Access Point provides third parties with access to documents is via email sharing, or sharing documents via emailed links. So all of our standard documents have the ability to include embedded links. So this particular document on the screen is an RFI that we're going to send out to AAA Insurance Bonding. If they select any of the hyperlinks on the document, then they'll be offered a download of the associated drawings and documents that are related to that particular RFI. We'll now work through an example of actually sending out an RFI. We're going to start off with from the job screen. To start off with, we're going to add some job contacts to a job. So this is basically the project directory. We'll just pull down the top navigation bar, go to the job contacts area, I'm going to open up a multi-select window so that we can easily choose from our overall database the particular people that we're going to be working with on this particular job. Now, this isn't a mandatory requirement. These companies and people are added automatically as we execute documents such as subcontracts and purchase orders and other documents. However, it makes it convenient when you're sending out a document to choose from a much smaller list of contacts for a particular project. We'll now go to the RFIs area, and we're going to open up an existing RFI just to save a little bit of time. Just open the document up on the screen. So then, looking at the document, over on the right hand side we have the recipients area. We can open up that recipients area and again open up a multi-select tool to select a number of recipients for this particular document. So we'll add AAA insurance bonding and a couple of other players. We'll just mark them as primary recipient. Add 2 other people as CC recipients on that document. And then going back to the main document, we'll have a look at what the actual output is. So there are the recipients on the right hand side. We'll just add some drawings before we move on to actually producing the document so that you can see the hyperlinks. We'll just choose some drawings from our drawing register. So this drawing register, or this list of drawings, are all of the active, the current drawings for this particular project. We'll just add those to the RFI. Now that those are added, then if we were to preview the document, we'll see what we're actually going to be sending out. You can see there the document. This will be generated as a PDF and attached to the email when we click on that send request. So those blue hyperlinks, very obviously presented down the bottom of the screen. If you click on one of those hyperlinks and the top one gives you the entire package, you can see you're prompted to save the package. If you choose open, it will show you the attached downloads. So that means that when we send out the RFI, we're not sending all of those drawings as attachments to the email, so we're not creating a very bulky email that we're going to send out. We're just sending out a single PDF, sending it to all of those people, and when they receive that PDF they can click on the hyperlink and download all of the associated documents. Now when those people are added to the distribution list, if they are not an existing portal user, they'll be sent invitations to verify their email address. So that process happens automatically in the background. As soon as you add recipients to a document and you click send, then the invitations will go out automatically to people who have not previously verified as portal users. Let's go and have a look at those emails. So I'm just going to go and have a look at, we only have one portal user currently set up because we actually didn't send that last email. So if we have a look at the emails that we've sent out to that portal user, so the first one that goes out is the email address verification. So that's just to validate that we actually have the right email address. So the user has to click on the hyperlink on that first sentence, and that will send a message back to the server telling it that the email address has reached the appropriate recipient. If I navigate now to the other email, so once we've validated our email address, the system sends out a second email so that we can then receive a password and the URL for the portal. So the portal is a direct access method for for accessing documents. So this is an option. Anybody who receives drawings and documents and verifies their email address can navigate to the portal and get access to the documents that they are participants on. So remember, they have to be on that recipients list in order to see a document. And what we're looking at here, and we'll look at it in the live software, is we've got a list of RFIs. We can see an attachment to the RFI, and we can see a number of drawings associated with that RFI. So the things that are important to remember here is that all access is logged automatically. So when people access documents through here or through those hyperlinks, we're logging that activity automatically. Their credentials are automatically sent to them, and they can, once they've logged in, they can maintain documents if appropriate. Another feature of the CAP is the ability to upload documents. So if external parties, subcontractors, suppliers need to upload maybe subcontract invoices, or maybe they're uploading submittal documents, they can use the CAP to upload those through the portal. The process is relatively straightforward and requires very little input from the user. We'll work through that in a live example shortly. One of the most important things about the CAP is ease of configuration and administration. These tools are only useful if they get used, and the only way they will get used is if they're simple to maintain. So we've got a portal user group profile here on the screen. So you can have as many user groups as you like, and the user group profile identifies which documents are going to be available, which fields of which documents are going to be available, and which ones are read-write. And we'll look at this in more detail shortly. So let's now navigate to the portal and have a look at how this actually hangs together. So moving to the portal, we've skipped the log-on screen because what we've done is remembered credentials. So the system will automatically log you into the portal. The drop down at the top gives you access to the various documents that you have access to based on your portal user group membership. So in this case, what we've done is we've chosen RFIs. You can see that there are a number of columns presented there, various bits of information. You can also access related entities, which on an RFI is the drawings and documents associated with that, with a particular RFI. So when we select a particular RFI, then the system will present us with the list of drawings associated with that RFI. It'll also show us any other attached documents that have been stored against that particular RFI. You'll note a couple of the fields on the RFI are white, which indicates that they are actually read-write. So we can go ahead and complete an answer in the answer field for this particular RFI. We can then complete the date. So pull down the date picker, put in the date. So we've now updated that RFI. That could generate a notification off to the project manager to tell him that an external party has now updated that RFI. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at the portal uploads concept. So uploads are where third parties can actually load or upload documents for the organisation's consideration. So we nominate any sort of document. So this is basically just a flag on the upload record telling it what sort of document we're trying to create. So in this case we've chosen RFI. I'm going to fill in a description for the RFI. We've then got a notes area where we can tell quite a bit of a story about this particular document. And what we're going to do now is we're going to load a document up. So we're just going to drag it out of a folder. Just going to take a photo, drag it up into that drag and drop zone, and it will upload it onto our document. So again, that could cause a notification or generate a notification based on the organisation's business rules that a new document has been uploaded into the portal. So using the CAP infrastructure, it will now go through to the project manager or whoever the relevant party is. So the important thing is to get the user group set up. So we're just looking at now the tool that's used to actually define what documents a particular user group has access to. When you choose a document, the system tells you what fields are available on that document, and then it also presents to you what related entities you may want to provide access to as well. So if I choose a subcontract, you can see there that I've got subcontract drawings, I've got line items, inclusions, exclusions, and so on. But I can go through and nominate the fields that I want to present through the portal on a subcontract. I'm just going to choose a couple of additional fields. Now when you add fields, the default width of a column is 100 pixels. You can then modify that width. So if you've got a description field, you might want to make it 200, 300 or 400 wide. You can define the order that they're going to appear across the screen, and you can also nominate the sort order for the records, as well as which columns, if any, are going to be editable by the third party. So it may just be a provision of access, so you just want to make them aware of what documents there are. They might want to need to access the associated drawings, or in like the RFI example before, you may want to provide them access to actually edit the document itself. Unlikely with a subcontract though. So that brings us to the conclusion of our collaborative access point presentation. Thank you very much for attending, and I look forward to talking to you again next time. Thank you.